Hi YouTube. So this video, it is a bookish week in the life as someone with a full-time job, but we also get into some other bookish things over the weekend. I decided to carry it into the weekend because I went to a book swap with my local bookstore. They do it about every 4 months, I want to say. We just all get together, throw some books on a table, and then just grab what we want. And it's always such a good time. I always meet someone new, and this time they had it at a bar, which was really fun. They had a little bookish cocktail menu. So I'm going to take you to the beginning of the week, and it's just going to start with me reading throughout the week. So it is Monday evening, and I thought this week we would just do a realistic week of me reading with a full-time job. I do work remote 3 days a week, and then I go in the office 2 days a week. So I do have a little bit more flexibility than some people might, but it still takes a lot of planning and being intentional in order for me to get all of my reading in. My big goal for this month is to get through a lot of the ARCs that I have. So I am going to have a lot of willpower to not just scroll on TikTok and watch TV this month if I want to get through as many ARCs as possible. Right now the ARC that I'm reading is Japanese Gothic by Kylie Lee Baker, and I'm really liking it. I read her other book, Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zhang, last year, and that was a top read for me. And then right now the audiobook that I'm listening to, I think it's called Bound by Hazelwood. I haven't heard anyone talking about this book, but I'm obsessed with it so far. Maybe obsessed is a strong word. I'm really liking it so far. It's only available on audiobook. I don't like the idea of releasing audiobooks first and then eventually printing it. I don't know what their angle is, but there's some sort of capitalistic angle going on here that I'm not really a fan of. I think that Spotify got the licensing to this one before it would be released elsewhere. I mean, I love Allie though, so good for her. It's just... Anyway, I'm really liking it. It's about a girl that she's getting her PhD, and she's in art history, and she actually forged first edition copies of novels and sells them for a lot of money. She kind of just gets suckered into this by one of her peers, and it's supposed to just be a one-time thing, and then they start doing it over and over again. Right now, I'm going to start reading Japanese Gothic. I couldn't put it down last night, but then it started getting a little bit scary, so I did finally put it down. I won't be able to give too many details on the plot since it is an arc, but I can tell you that I'm really liking it. And this is in the synopsis, so I can tell you this. Right now, the main character, Lee, he woke up one morning and he realized that he murdered his friend, but he cannot remember how, and he doesn't remember where he put the body or anything like that. So right now he's fled to Japan where his father lives to hide out. And he can't remember anything. He just knows that his friend is dead and he's pretty sure that he did it. And then there's an alternate timeline with the samurai, which I just got to that part. Okay, so it's Wednesday now. It's a work from home day for me, and I wanted to give an update while I'm on my lunch break. Yesterday, I didn't really check in that much, but I did finish Bound by Hazelwood, and I wish more people were talking about this book or listening to this book. Like I said earlier in the video, I think since it's released on audiobook only and it was a Spotify partnership, it didn't get as much traction in the beginning, but I really liked it. I mean, I'm really partial to this kind of like style of dark academia, and it reminded me a lot of, I don't want to say what it reminded me of. Basically, it is about, I forget the characters' names, but it is about a woman that is getting her PhD, and she is able to make replicas of first edition novels, and she gets kind of wrapped up with this man that wants her to make a very specific copy of a book. And then I don't want to give away too much, but it's a really big job. It's a really big risk because if they get caught, they could get in a lot of trouble, not just by the law, but by different collectors. It's a really shady business in some ways. So it's really interesting, but they're basically, they keep saying that they're not vampires, but they're vampire. I haven't seen any evidence that says that they're not a vampire. So I don't get why they're so insistent in saying that they are not vampires, but basically they're vampires. They drink blood. They're immortal. They're literally, I think they said they're over 1,000 years old or something like that. I really enjoyed this a lot. I don't think it's as strong of a book as Allie Hazelwood's other fantasy books, Mate and Bride. I feel like I like the characters more in this one and the story premise a lot more. I just feel like it wasn't as developed as the other books. I feel like she just got a fun idea and decided to write something. So, but I really, really liked it. I think I'm going to go with a 4-star for that one, which was really surprising. I just thought that I really liked her other audiobook only release, but it was so quick and just a cute little story. And I thought it was going to be kind of like that. I just thought I was going to listen to it and move on with my life, but I like this one a lot. So if you have it available in your library or if you have Spotify Premium, I highly recommend listening to that one. Okay, I just got from work and I didn't really get a lot of audiobook listening done today in the office. We just had a lot going on, but I still have some bookish updates. There is a little free library across the street from my office and I can tell it doesn't get a lot of foot traction. So I have been keeping a stack of books in my desk and then every day when I'm on my walk getting my steps in, I just drop off a couple in there. Usually no one drops anything off, but today there was a bunch of stuff in there. And I ended up getting 3 books that I put in the last clip. I actually forgot them at work, so I didn't bring them home. But I'm just excited that there was books in there for once because it just makes me sad when there's a little free library and it's not getting any use. There's also a ton of apartments right there. And that's why I've been dropping off books there and not really picking any up for a while because okay, I just got interrupted, but if I was just saying, I hope that if there's anyone in those apartments that want to pick up some books, now they have some options. Next parking lot over from my office, there's a thrift store and I had never been in there. I never knew if they even had books in there, but I just decided on a whim to go there after work because it was one of the first times I left work in a while that it wasn't dark outside, so I didn't feel like going home yet. And I was so surprised. I've been obsessed lately with collecting historical romance books, specifically those super cheesy kind of like 80s Fabio looking covers, and I love that they were oil painted and not, I mean, I'm a digital artist and a traditional artist, so I know a lot of covers are made digitally now, but I really wish that we just didn't lose the art of oil painted covers, and I'm obsessed with them. And I've started reading a lot of historical romance lately, so also, I talked about this in my last video, but I'm going to keep talking about it. Those mass market paperbacks, the ones that I'm about to show you, they're actually going out of print because there's been a lack of interest in them. And I'm guilty of it too. A lot of people use their Kindle, and so there's just not much of a demand for mass market paperbacks. And it's really sad because it's really accessible for readers because they're so inexpensive. And then it's really good for new authors or authors from less popular genres to get picked up by a publisher because there's less risk printing the book. So I'm just really sad that we're going to see less and less mass market paperbacks. I actually tried to get some copies of Tessa Dare books to give to my friend because she's getting into historical romance as well. That's a good starting point, and I wasn't even able to order them, and that was kind of a big shock to me because she's kind of a not newer, she's been around a while, but she's not, I think she's from at least like the 2000s. So, and she's very popular, so I was surprised that I couldn't even order her books now. I don't know if she's going to have to change to trade paperback size or if she's just going to have to publish now all on Kindle, but it's sad. So first 2 I was super excited about were these copies of books from the Bridgerton series, And these are two in my collection that I've been needing, but I don't want one that has the Netflix sticker on it. And these are, well, I don't think that all the copies I have, they're technically not from the same editions, but they're all mass market paperback size at least. But this one's actually the original cover, and it has the step back cover in it, which most of them don't. So I was super excited to find both of these. This one is Penelope's book, and this one's Francesca's book. I got all of these with like those cheesy covers, but I'm obsessed with. And then these are all by an author called Johanna Lindsey. She's a legendary historical romance author. I've heard a lot of her plot lines are a little bit controversial, so I'm gonna try one eventually. Most of these don't have anyone on the cover, but then I have this one that's a much older copy that does. So I was, oh yeah, and I also randomly, I like collecting horror book paperbacks as well, and I thought this one was really cool. So I was super excited and pleased to find all these, and I'll definitely be going back into that thrift store more often. I haven't been having a lot of luck going to Goodwill and stuff like that like I used to. I also need to find out where I'm going to put all the historical romances that I've been collecting. I have them on top of one of my bookshelves right now, but I'm running out of room. I think I might get like a rolly cart and just put all my historicals in there, and it'll be just like my historical fiction cart. I don't have any room for another bookshelf that is in its own spot, so I think that's really the only option that I have. I set a timer for 40 minutes and I ended up reading for almost 2 hours because this book is so good. I wish I could talk more in detail about it, but just at the end of every chapter, I'm like, I'm going to read one more chapter. And they're decent sized chapters, and when I get to the end, I'm like, okay, I need to keep going because they don't necessarily end on cliffhangers, but I just want to know more. There's two different main characters in this, and one of them is sort of an unreliable narrator, but he's starting to notice things around him. And I'm like, okay, I believe what you're seeing, and I'm probably getting tricked. I don't know if there's going to be a twist in this. I feel like her last book didn't really have... It had a reveal, but not really like a twist, if that makes sense. Since it's an ARC, I really don't know how much I can say. I'm going to talk about it at some point because I have things to say, and I wish I could say them right now. Just know it's a really good book, and I'm on the edge of my seat. I really want to stay up reading it, but I have to work tomorrow. I want to finish it by Friday just to end the week at a specific ending point, and then I'm going to a romance book swap on Saturday, so I obviously want to bring a romance book with me. We're having it at a bar this time, and everyone brings romance books to swap. We just put them on a table and you can take as many as you want, and then everyone sits and reads for a while. And since they're having it at a bar, you know, we'll have drinks and sit and read for a bit. So I obviously want to bring a romance book to that. I think I'm gonna read my first Tessa Dare book and bring that because it's on my TBR for this month. It's called When a Scot Ties the Knot. So the book swap went so amazing. I only brought 3 or 4 books and I left with like 20. Some of them I am going to donate to the little free library. There was a bunch left over on the table. The bookstore that runs it, they didn't really want to have to bring all these books home that nobody grabbed. So I grabbed a big stack of Ellen Hildebrand books, and I'm going to put those in the little free library. I feel like those are good books to put in there. But I'm going to go over the books that I got for myself. We're excited about them. So first 2 I got are 2 books in this series that I've really been wanting to read. I got a lot of historical romance, and that's a genre that I have been super, super into lately. And this one is An Island Princess Starts a Scandal and A Caribbean Heiress in Paris. This one's a hardcover, and I really, really wish it was a paperback, but I couldn't turn down grabbing this. Now I'll just go over all the other historical romances that I got. So first one is How to Fake It in Society, and it's a queer historical romance, and I love queer historical romances. Next is The Phoenix Bride. I'm not really sure what this one is about, but I actually looked it up what it was about when I grabbed it and I already forgot, but it looks kind of like a Victorian London setting though from what I'm getting. And A Lethal Engagement. This one is a historical, but I'm pretty sure it's more of a murder mystery type. I'm not sure if there's a romance subplot at all, but it looks really interesting either way. Wolf of Mayfair, I actually thought, I got so excited because I thought that this was going to be like a werewolf romance that was also a Regency type romance. And I was like, that's like the perfect crossover for me. But it is like, they're using wolf like as kind of like a rogue type thing, but it still looks really good. I just thought that it was a werewolf romance and someone needs to write that, a werewolf Regency romance. I would be so down with that. Next is The Unexpected Diva. I had never heard of this one, and a lot of these so far have been ARCs. A lot of people bring ARCs, obviously ones that have already been released that they no longer want, and it's really, really exciting finding them. And this one is set in the South in the US. This is another one from a series that I've been wanting to get into, and it is A Tropical Rebel Gets the Duke. I want to read all of the books in the series, so I was so excited that someone brought this one. I was talking to someone and I was like, yeah, I've been really into collecting mass market paperbacks lately. And then almost right after, someone walked in and dropped all 3 of these on a table, and I was so excited. The first one is a Diana Quincy ARC, and I've been wanting to read Diana Quincy. She is a Palestinian author and she writes historical romance, and I was like, someone dropped it on the table and I was like, I've been wanting to read Diana Quincy, like this is perfect. And she was like, well, there you go. She dropped off this one, and then The Highland Wolf. I didn't look and see if this one is a werewolf romance, but I don't think that it is. I am learning that people just like to use the word wolf in titles, so this looks really good. It's by Lindsay Sands, which is an author that I've really been wanting to read in the historical romance space. The next one is Nobody's Princess by Erica Ridley. So now I'll go over some of the other genres that I got. The first one is The Beast by Katie Robert. Katie Robert is a dark romance author, and I don't really read a lot of dark romance. This is also Why I Choose, which is something that I also don't read a lot of, but I'm open to anything as long as it's not problematic. And everyone raves about Katie Robert, so this one is a Why Choose, and it's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, so it's between Belle, the Beast, and Gaston, which someone said it was really good, so I'm gonna give it a shot. Next is the Build a Boyfriend Project. I thought that because of I love the artwork on this, by the way, but I thought it was a YA for the longest time, but it is an adult romance, and everyone said that they really love it and that the author is the sweetest person ever. Next, we have Julia's Song is Undateable. I think that the FMC in this works for a K-beauty brand. Susan Lee, the author of this, I love her so much. I met her at a signing for one of Julie Soto's books and one of Kate Goldbeck's books, and she is so funny and so sweet. And the signing for Kate Goldbeck, or it wasn't really a signing, but it was like a meet and greet. It was Susan Lee, Julie Soto, Ali Hazelwood, and a bunch of other authors, and they are just the coolest friend group. Like, could you imagine being in that friend group? I'm obsessed with them. They're so funny. And then next we have First Time Caller by BK Borison. I can't believe I haven't read this one yet, so I was really happy someone brought it and dropped it off. Her new book just came out and everyone was raving about it. One of my close friends read this book last month and she loved it, so I'm really excited to get to that probably this spring. I like reading a lot of contemporary romance in the springtime. Bingsu for Two. I've seen this around, but I don't really know that much about it. I know that it's set in a Korean cafe, and I love that the FMC, she has kind of like an alt kind of look to her. I really like that. And then Overruled by Lana Ferguson. I think Lana Ferguson, she has a series that's all monster romances, but it's kind of like, from my understanding, I haven't read them yet, it's kind of like Mate and Bride by Ali Hazelwood, where it's like a good starting point for monster romance. And I have one of them that's like a Scottish one, and I don't even know for sure if that one's actually a monster romance, but I know that she has some, and I know that people love her, so I'm very excited I found this one. This one is not monster romance, it is an office romance, and I love office romances so much. Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. It's so funny, every time I go to this book swap event, they have it like every 3 months. I always see this book on the table, someone always brings it, and I always want to grab it, and someone swoops it up before I can. this time I finally got it. I've only read one of her books. I forget the name of it, but it's when she has an apartment in New York and it's like a time travel thing. I really, really liked it. I don't know if this one is fall vibes like the other one. I'm gonna look first before I read it, but I'm really glad I finally got this one. The last two books I've already read, but I really, really like both of them, so I really wanted physical copies. I tried to leave them on the table for a while since I already read them, and I figured I should let someone have a chance that hasn't read them yet, grab them, but nobody did for a while. So the first book is The Summer of Broken Rules. This one is a YA, and I don't read a lot of that genre much anymore now that like I'm a lot older than a YA person, okay? But if it is a young adult book that makes me feel really nostalgic for my teen years, which is really hard to do because I hated my teen years, but if it gives me like good memories of it, then I end up loving it, and that's exactly what this book does. The main character's family, they all go to Martha's Vineyard together every summer. My family definitely wasn't that bougie, but we did go camping a lot during the summer growing up, and we did spend a lot of time at my grandparents' house. And at my grandparents' house, it's a ranch, and then there's another house on the property, and my aunt's house was really, really close by. So just during the summer, we would all be together and just kind of bopping around to each other's houses, and we would go camping together, and it would kind of be the same thing, like different tents set up with each individual family, and we would just be bopping around from campsite to campsite. And that's kind of what this book reminds me of. They live at her grandparents' property during the summer at Martha's Vineyard, and all of her family kind of has like their own little house, if I remember correctly. It does have kind of a sad backstory. Her sister passed away a few years before this book takes place, and I think it's their first summer together as a family. Just keep that in mind going into it. There are parts of this book that are really sad. I forgot that I also got Nocticadia, which is another book that I've already read, but it was sitting on the table for a good 45 minutes, and I was like, no one's gonna grab it. I'm grabbing it. I want to say it's the indie cover, but maybe there's only the indie cover. I don't know if this ever got traditionally published. I went to Barnes & Noble one time and they had it. I was so excited. And it was a hardcover. I don't do hardcovers if I can help it. And it was like a naked hardcover without the dust jacket. I like the idea of those because I hate dust jackets, but if I need everything to match, and if it's the only one that's a naked hardcover on my shelf, I know that's so stupid, but I just didn't want it. So glad that I got the paperback. So that is the end of this vlog. It didn't go exactly as planned because it did bleed into the weekend, and it was supposed to show how much reading I get done with a full-time job, and I did get quite a bit done, but I was also so tired from working that I barely recorded those parts. But I did want to go over the books that we read in this vlog real quick. First one, Bound by Ali Hazelwood. I was very surprised how much I like this book. I love all of Ali's books, but I just haven't heard a lot of people talk about this one, and since it's audiobook only, I just didn't know what to expect, but I absolutely loved it. I rated that one a 4-star. I love when Ali writes outside of contemporary romance and she tries new things, and this one, I hope she does more dark academia, because I don't know why she doesn't do more of it, because she herself is an academic or a scientist or something like that. Like, it just seems like she has the experience to be writing dark academia, and I want to see more from her. So I absolutely love that one. And then the next book I read was Japanese Gothic. 5-star. I think that's my first 5-star of the year. My last vlog, I read Indigo by Beverly Jenkins, and that was like I keep going between a 5 and like a 4.75. I haven't decided yet, but Japanese Gothic, undeniably a 5-star read, and it comes out April 26th. If I'm wrong, I'll put the correct date right here. It was so, so good. Even if you don't read horror, there were some parts that were kind of difficult to read and were a little bit scary, but it is 100% worth it. Kylie Lee Baker is so good about writing horror stories, but then teaching you a lot about culture, history, and it's phenomenal. And I want more horror books that center around history and culture. She does such a good job, and I can't wait to see what she comes up with next. I think that her next book just got announced, but I could be wrong. I think I'm wrong. I think that I'm making things up because I want her to write another book so bad. But 5-star read, loved it. And then I started reading When a Scot Ties the Knot by Tessa Dare. I didn't get very far in it, but so far I really liked it. FMC in the beginning, in the prologue, she's writing letters to a fake person because she doesn't want to tell her family that she doesn't actually have a suitor. So she's just writing letters to this person that doesn't exist, and the names that she was coming up with were so funny. It was like Dr. McSteamy, but not Dr. McSteamy. I don't know. You saw what she was calling him. It was cracking me up. It was really cute, but I only read like the prologue in the first 2 chapters, so don't have much to report on that, but that will probably be in my next vlog, hopefully. That's gonna be the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun filming it, even though it didn't go as planned, but I feel like that happens in every single one of my vlogs, so I will see you all next time.